And you've used the elevator, Steve, to talk about, um, that you're going to go through the experiences that you've already had. If
Yeah,
you were exhausted, you're going to hit that floor on the way down. If you were in fight, you're going to hit that floor.
yeah.
That
You can't pull the car into the garage and not back up to get it out.
hmm
And
hmm
that's the elevator. Yeah, you're way up here. You're going to hit all of that. It's actually an exciting moment when you start fighting, when you're coming out of freeze, because that fight actually helps you come out of the freeze. So those elevators and all those floors we're coming through are just a reminder that, oh yeah, I might have a smidgen of a memory might come through my mind, but I guarantee you a memory is in the body that's going to be there with every floor that we hit. And it's just coming back through that whatever we went through, we come back through. And that's
hmm
one of the, in shock trauma or event trauma, we work the edges. We come around and work the edges. We can see the pond or the lake. We can see it. And we come and we just work the edges around it and we heal. But with developmental trauma, I have no idea where the pond is. So oftentimes I'm going to walk right through the middle of it. That intensity may come up. And
hmm
knowing that, okay, this is short lived and we're going to get through this as long as you can tolerate it. Let's just move on through it. And that's how healing comes about.
hmm hmm Um, oh yeah. So could you say something about the natural state, Steve, being present at the same time as the trauma and the frozen and the high activation being present in our body?
They're both alive at the same time,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
And what happens is that we know there's always a natural state in there, and parts of that organic self may not have ever been used. It could be a new experience for us, but that organic adult is with us while we're doing this work, as well as that natural state, as well as the activation. So it's possible, and this is the part that's kind of you have to wrap around and go, what? It is possible that I have a fight response here that's settled in, and I have a freeze response here that's settled in, and I have a run response here, and they can all be next to each other. But there's also a natural state that's there too. And that natural state is so scary sometimes for the body to move towards because in the silence of natural state, when we go into that place of presence, that natural state is so quiet. It's very quiet. And that quiet oftentimes activates one of those other parts that's somewhere else in the body. But yes, they're all on board at the same time.
hmm And then the more we do the work with our clients, the more space they have in their system, and the more often the natural state can arise or be known or express itself. That's
Yeah. Yeah. So think about, you know, let me share a screen again. And I'm going to go back because what you just said is really important. So here I am, and there's a box, and there's a box, and there's a box. And I'm just going to use these three boxes just for simplicity. And so I come into these boxes and I think about them and I go, okay, I might arrive in therapy in this tiny box right here. This might be where I arrive in therapy. And inside that box, I have to live my life. I've been living my life and managing my life in there. So as a healer, I'm holding space for you, but that's all the space you have. It's just this little tiny box in reality. And that's not an easy place to live. That's not an easy place to experience life. Kind of there. So we come in and we start working at that area, and we're bringing on and we're saying, okay, I'm holding space for you. And holding space means I'm giving you all the space you need to do whatever you need to do to find healing. I'm allowing that space. And then all of a sudden, we have this bigger space. Look how big it is. We brought on more regulation. So they're in here and they're working away now, and they have much more room. And in this bigger room, they also can see things that maybe were difficult or feel things that were difficult. And so those are important. And then as we bring on more regulation, look at this space. Look how much more expanded. Look how much more freedom they have. Look how much more awareness. And then they have this space. And that space is the whole world. There is no boundaries. That's where we're moving to, is we're holding space for our clients to eventually get to this space without any boundaries. None. We can experience everything. Takes time, but we can do it.
Mm. So if I place myself in the first box before I started TEB or my journey, I didn't know it was small. I didn't know I was contracted. I didn't know I was dense. I kind of didn't even know I was playing life safe because all those rules were unconscious. So I was in a pretty small box, and now I'm in a medium to middle,
Yeah, and I love what you just said. You just said something so powerful that you probably don't even know what I'm getting ready to tell you that you said.
No.
You said before I started TEB, then you said, or my journey.
Yeah.
It's not about TEB, it's about your journey.
Yeah.
It's totally about the journey. And yes, if I was raised in a tiny box and never saw the world, I wouldn't know that it was wrong.
Yeah.
I would think it was normal to be in this tiny box. I wouldn't even know it was a tiny box.
Yeah.
That's the important part. Keep coming back to that and say, you found relationships, you went to school, you went to college, you did all these successful things in your survival self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a limited way, and you wouldn't realize it was limited when you were doing it, but you know. But yeah, I like this, Steve. I think my clients are going to like this, to hear this stuff. It's really
Yeah.
really good.